Why resisting to change? Where if we continue to resist, we continue to create that suffering within ourselves that somehow will lead us to depression, lead us to anxiety, and lead us to not being happy with ourselves. So what's up everybody, and welcome back to the Real You channel. Today's video, I would like to talk about the inevitability of change and how we should accept changes in our life so that we can be more peaceful. Life will always be changing. Change of jobs, relationships, friendships. I changed my place of living, moving from Southern California to Northern California in order for me to find myself. In order for me to dig deeper and more in tune with myself so that I can be more peaceful with myself. At first, it was hard because I didn't like the change. I remember growing up as a kid, I would always resist the change. It's so funny because this story will always remain in my brain is because I remember I was in middle school. And after school, we would always go to Carl Jr.'s and we would always get this spicy chicken sandwich. And back then, the spicy chicken sandwich was like 99 cents. And then a couple of weeks or a couple of months after, it changed to 109. And my sister and I were like, huh? What the heck? Why are you changing the price? Like, we are students. We don't have the money. We resisted. We even go inside and ask the manager to reduce the price. We were making a big scene just for 10 cents. And it was so funny because by us resisting change, we are creating a chain of suffering within ourselves. As a kid, I was reluctant. I was resisting to the change. I was obnoxious. I didn't want to accept the fact that this are the changes and I want things to be back to normal. Is because it was how it is. I mean, it's been 99 cents for a while and now why is it 109, right? But eventually growing up and now in my late 20s, I started to understand and accepting the fact that the change is inevitable. We cannot change and we cannot change the ever-changing things of life, but just to adapt to it and just to go on with it. Our minds and body works in very mysterious ways. First, our minds and bodies would resist the change, wouldn't accept the change. But eventually, our mind and body started getting used to it. For example, I talk about diets. When you first started going on a diet, your body doesn't accept that. If you start cutting out sugar, you start getting headaches. If you stop eating carbs, you start getting headaches. If you're used to eating over 2,000 calories and your body is used to taking all of those calories and energy and now you're eating under 2,000 calories, your body is not going to accept that change and it will go into shock at first, but eventually your body and your mind will get used to it. Changes are important for the human's body and mind. It helps to motivate us to adapt to the situation and the environment. Low level of stress is good for the body and change creates that. So understanding that change will always and forever is happening, we would have to tap into mindfulness and understanding the concept of impermanence. The concept of impermanence is showing all of us that things will always and forever be changing. There's no such things as forever and there's no such things as being fixed. For example, our bodies will forever be changing. We used to be little kids, right? We used to have smaller arms, smaller heads, smaller lips, smaller legs, wear smaller shoes. Now we grow up to be older adults where we have to wear certain size, bigger shoes, bigger clothes. We eat more. So that is a real example of change. Another perfect example of change would be the changing of season. We move from spring to summer to fall to winter. The leaves are changing. The environment's changing. The weather's changing. So why resisting to change? Where if we continue to resist, we continue to create that suffering within ourselves that somehow will lead us to depression, lead us to anxiety, and lead us to not being happy with ourselves. So moving to a new place has helped me a lot in understanding the changes and understanding the physiology of my body and my mind and how it takes time, effort, and dedication in order for all of us to adapt to the change. At first, I was resisting the change. At first, I wanted to go back to how things was because we are so used to how things were before. For example, this COVID, right? So everybody had to wear masks, everybody have to keep social distancing, everybody have to be self-quarantined in the house and not being able to talk to anybody, not being able to have a conversation, not being able to go out shopping, go to the bar, stuff like that, because that was me. I'm a very social person. At the same time, now I'm more introvert because I learned to be more peaceful within myself. But back then, I could not accept change whatsoever. And that has helped me realize that I was not peaceful with myself when I was not accepting the change. When we have new jobs and we love the old job and we just, while we're working and we're sitting and we're, doing our new job and we're reminiscing about the old job and we want the old job back and we want the old co-workers back. And within that moment, we're actually wasting our time reminiscing of the fact that the past has gone and not focusing on the present moment. By doing that, we're not really fully engage ourselves into the experience that is in front of us. Also, at the same time, moving through life, I've gained a lot of people and a lot of friendships. And it's hard. It's hard to move from one person to the next because different people have different personalities and different perspectives in life. And I love that. But back then it was so hard for me to move from one person to another is because we don't want to change. We're so used to being comfortable with that person. We're so used to waking up with that person every day. We're so used to being next to that person that now thinking of a new person, thinking of, talking to a new person again, it is so hard. But that is all in our mind because we're resisting to the change. And now by accepting that change is inevitable. And change will forever continue to happen. I've learned to be more peaceful with myself, and I would encourage all of you to start accepting change so that you can be more peaceful with yourself. Understand that everything is temporary, and surrender to change will make our body and mind more peaceful. Remember, in order for us to be the real version of ourselves, all we got to do is try.